Hello, everyone. Ape Out. Not Ape Out. Ape Out. Because it's in all caps, I guess. I don't really know how to feel about this game. I like it, but at the same time, it's got some major problems. Let's just go through the issues first. This is a big one for me. There is no option to turn the sound effects off. Are you fucking kidding me? This is the biggest problem about the game. In a game that boasts about having a changing soundtrack based on how you play, they don't have the option to turn off the sound effects and just have the music by itself. Why? This whole game seems to exist for the music and the gameplay accompanying said music, but for whatever reason, they don't at least give you the option to turn off the sound effects. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like not having a resolution option in the game. It's just idiotic. The other issue some may find is that the gameplay is just too simplistic and repetitive. Allow me to explain what you do in this game. You grab people and throw them. That's about it. If you throw them into a wall or something, they die. Depending on who you throw at another person, they can both die. Example, you throw a rifleman at a rifleman, dead, both of them. You throw a rifleman at a shotgunner, rifle guy's dying, shotgunner is just gonna get stunned. And if you grab someone and they have a shot ready, you can quickly aim to hit another person with their shot. If they always have their shots ready and continually shoot, machine gunners do this and flamethrower guys do this, that's all there, like, you could just shoot forever. Like, that's all there is to the game, really. The last level has you breaking out other animals out of the zoo, and they help you kill shit, but that's really all there is. It's not the biggest issue, but I will say that 100% it's a good thing the game is only about an hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours long. That's around how long it is. If the game was 6 hours long and it never changed much, the gameplay, I really wouldn't like. I really wouldn't like this game if it was that long. Those are really the main problems with the game. The gameplay being too simple, and the options not having a fucking sound option. The other thing that actually really bothers me is the difficulty scaling, mainly with the rocket launching soldiers on the last couple levels. The whole game is pretty well scaled, but unless you are running horizontally to the rocket launcher guys, their rockets will hit you. Every single time. And it's an instant kill. So you want to go immediately for them and take them out, and then the other guys who won't instantly kill you. So it's like a gamble every time you decide to run towards a rocket guy. It's like a 50-50 chance if you're going to get blown up. It's just not fun to fight against. In contrast, we have the flamethrower guys, which you shouldn't get too close to unless you can kill them before they ignite you, but if you are really tricky and clever, you can strafe around them just so their fire doesn't hit you, and you can move around quick enough to them to get behind them and kill them. That's really, really satisfying to do that, I'll tell you. But you look at the rocket guys and it's just like, oh, I'm dead, or oh, I'm not dead. It's just not fun. It really isn't. Aside from that, the gameplay is pretty on point. Challenging? Not too challenging. The difficulty ramps up well aside from one enemy variant, and I was finding enough trouble to get through each level, and there was a couple where I actually got stuck on the level, but I finished each album, or world, as you would say in another video game, with like less than 10 deaths on each, which I would consider pretty good for pacing and difficulty. I'm not the best at video games ever, but I'm not the worst ever. I'm pretty above average. And I was challenged enough to where I was only just getting frustrated enough to finish the level. And after you beat the game, you get harder and softer modes. The softer mode was the one you played through on the first run of the game, and then you get to play through the hard mode. The standard difficulty, you know, you can play aggressive and quickly and not think too much about what you're doing and get through just fine if you're good at being aggressive and quick. I was playing through some of the earlier levels on harder, and it was a really nice challenge. You really have to use every single shot to your advantage and make your movements particular. It makes you slow down and think about what you were doing, and bait each enemy out in a very tactical way. It just makes you play smarter, rather than quicker or just better. To my knowledge, all the harder difficulty does is add more enemies, which I'm completely fine with. Okay, here's another bullshit. The pacifist run. I love it when video games let you play how you want to play and set your own goals for yourself. I love the Dishonored games for this reason. They are the perfect example of that. Doing a pacifist run on those games can be pretty tricky at times. On this game, the only thing you can't do is throw people at walls or at each other, aka you can't directly kill someone. If you use them as a human shield and they are shot, fine, then that's whatever. If you grab a guy and aim him to shoot another guy, that's fine too. Everything else is a big no-no. Here's the problem. It's not a fun way to play the game. It turns a fast-paced action game into a boring, grindy slog where you are constantly holding someone. This is the most effective way to play a pacifist run. It's just human shield fucking everybody. Here's how you play a pacifist run. Walk towards a group of people, human shield someone, and try to shoot their gun at someone else. Once your human shield is shot, grab another. Repeat until there is only one guy left. Grab that guy, shoot his gun, and then run away so he doesn't shoot you when you're running away. Doing that every single encounter isn't fun. I don't like it at all. I have no idea how you could make a pacifist run interesting or fun in any way, but it's just boring and frustrating in every way. The other alternative run is the never get hit run, which sounds like it could be better than a pacifist run, but it would be a lot of pause and restart level, and I really don't want to spend that much time on this game. And that's the perfect phrase, too, and I really don't want to spend that much time on this game. This game is 2 hours at the most, and if it was any longer, I would be much more negative. But the pacing is just good enough to where it's actually alright. It's a game that's actually less than the sum of its parts. A unique soundtrack that changes based on your gameplay as you play as an aggressive guerrilla vengeful for freedom. Sounds awesome. It's pretty good, I guess. Like, it's alright. The soundtrack lacks composition for obvious reasons, and it is very present music. And by that I mean when you are listening to it, you're sort of into it, but if you're asked to recall a track or, you know, remember some of the measures that are in it, I couldn't do it. I don't know how to do it. I can't think of like a measure or some parts of a track in the game. Mainly because it's an ever-changing soundtrack that doesn't have a definite composition. But even my video album, I can't remember most of the measures and tracks. It certainly is noteworthy that the best song in the game is the only composed one, which is at the end, and it's like 10 minutes long, and the brass player sounds like he's being strangled. It's still good. I just don't like that how the brass sounds. It's just really off. Like the trumpets and the sax, it's just like, what the fuck. But with the main soundtrack, it's music where you are saying, alright, I'm into this, and then afterwards, you're like, wait, what? And the game is the same way too. When you are playing it, it's pretty good. When you aren't playing it, you don't care. It's ultimately a game that I will probably not ever play again, and that's a problem for the game. Am I happy I played it? Yeah. It was pretty good. The visuals and the sound were extremely unique in a way that many video games have never done before. It has this 70s angle-heavy simplistic art style with very unique jazz music, only using drums. The way they use colors to change tones and title sequences of each level presenting themselves to you in a unique way based on the title of the level, it's so neat. I just love the way this game looks and sounds and how it presents itself. And how it plays is pretty alright too. But I will probably never touch it again. At the end of the game, I described this game as being in 2nd grade. I learned and did some pretty neat things in 2nd grade. We had a few weeks where we learned about pirates, and then we had a pirate day where we dressed up and learned more. And we learned about wildlife and rainforests and spider monkeys and stuff like that. And my teacher was really cool and really pretty. Am I glad I had the experience? Yeah. Do I want to do it again? No. That's Ape Out. I hope you enjoyed this short little video, but I wanted to talk about this game that I did another video on that was completely Ericless. The video album was kind of an experimentation in just how non-composed soundtracks could sound, but overall I really just made it for me. I love soundtracks to games and movies, and I love the music, period. And when I saw Ape Out, the first thing I thought of was, there has to be a soundtrack, because I just really like the way it sounds. There wasn't one. because the game has what I will call gameplay spontaneous music, which the Doom reboot sort of had, but it was much less reliant on the gameplay. If you play Doom 2016 and you shoot your gun, the music picks up. Not exactly the same thing, but similar. When I found out Ape Out had that soundtrack gimmick thing to it, I immediately said, I guess I'll make it, and then I did. I hope you enjoyed both of these videos. I liked making them a lot, and if you liked these videos, share them with a friend. And if you're fascinated by the Ape Out video album, it'll be on screen. Also, I have social media things in the description. I mainly use Twitter, and I just started using a site called Letterboxd. It's also an app, which is a movie-based social media with following, and it logs what movies I've seen and my ratings of them, reviews that I might just make real quick just to shout into the void and practice writing reviews, and the movies that I want to see soon, or my watch list. If you like that idea, check out Letterboxd, and also follow me there. Or don't! That's always an option. Anyways, yeah, description stuff, check it out. Bye.